Yo, what's up everyone? I did some trades the other day on my 1 Solana challenge wallet, and in today's video I'm gonna show you the trades I took, explain why I bought, why I sold, and my overall approach to this 1 Solana challenge. There's gonna be a lot of sauce and a ton of stuff you can learn, and just to keep your attention, I'm in a profit. There are gonna be losses and wins, I'm not hiding anything, so you can see how it actually works behind the scenes. Starting with 1 Solana, which is a little over $80 right now. It's really not that easy. It's a small part, so I'm very picky about which coins I trade, but with the right approach you can still manage to make profits, and I'm gonna explain exactly how I'm doing it. If you like these type of videos where I'm showing real trades, real losses and real profits, not just basic stuff, then subscribe to the channel. It really helps me to grow and motivates me to keep making more videos like this. Also follow me on X because that's where I'm most active. But before we dive in, I want to quickly thank SolPump for sponsoring today's video. SolPump is the best on-chain Solana gambling website available to play on. It's my go-to when the markets are down and trends are kinda slow. All you have to do to play is just connect any Solana wallet like Phantom, then bet directly out of your wallet on any of their games. You can play their 50-50 Solana coin flip game, on-chain Solana blackjack and crash. You can also get free rewards every day like this free Solana case and hourly Solana airdrops, and they also have their very own token SolPump that you can earn on each bet. If you want to play where I play and make money while the markets are slow, come to SolPump and type in my code SAVANT. Now let's get back to the video. In my previous trading video, the system, I showed how I trade with the Lowport wallet. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It will help you understand how I pick my entries and manage risk when I'm trading with small port. Now, the first trade of the day was this 4chan coin. With all the GitHub meta going on, it looked legit to me, and the dev seemed kinda legit too. Obviously, I checked the holders first, then the clusters, everything looked fine. I even tried to confirm whether 4chan actually has their own GitHub, but at some point I just thought, nah, I'm spending too much time on this. He paid the DEX, so I decided to go for a quick little scalp. I waited for a dip first and I caught it pretty much perfectly here. I didn't even feel like waiting for it to bond, it was just moving too slow, so I took the 30% and got out. Profit is profit, and that's how you build a small port. Next trade was pretty interesting, also the GitHub type shit, and there were 2 identical coins launched. The first one, the original one with community, was kinda ass because the dev didn't share the fees with the GitHub, so I kept my hands off that coin. But then someone vamped it and actually shared the fees with GitHub. And always make sure that the dev is doing what he will say will do if you want to avoid being dumped on. As you can see, the vamp gained pretty much all the attention, volume started to kick in, chart looking bullish, so I was ready to take a trade here. In moments like these, you really need to stay patient and wait for the entry. If I wouldn't get a dip, I wouldn't buy it. That was the thought I had. I didn't get the perfect entry though, but still got in at the dip. It also ended up a very quick scalp. I took my 40% profit and left. I'm trying to build up some profits first before I start holding coins for 2x or more. Then I took some losses. I decided to take a bigger risk here on this name coin, also based on GitHub. Apparently this was the second coin created after Bitcoin, blah blah blah. Don't know if that's true, don't really care. The DEX was paid, fees were shared with the GitHub, and the authority was locked, which means the dev can't change anything from this point. And there was a really nice pullback here, that's why I decided to go in with 1 Solana. It kept dropping lower after that, and I sold for a 20% loss, so that's that. Then I took another loss on this shit here, another GitHub type launch, but this time it's a project endorsed by the Solana team. Apparently this was purely a hype play. Usually traders blast in before doing any research on coins where Solana is mentioned, even though it doesn't make any sense, and I kinda thought this would work out. It migrated, then it just started to pull back, going sideways, up and down type movements, which I really hate and they make me nervous, and I then sold it at a 30% loss. This was a really bad trade, pure gamble trying to make back what I lost on the previous trade. But then, right after that, SBF, the famous CEO of FTX, suddenly tweeted some kind of a joke about making FTX 2.0. Obviously, it bonded really fast, and even though I don't usually trade these tweet plays, this one had the potential to push even higher because of the whole FTX 2.0 hype in this tweet. Here, I really tried to aim my entry perfectly to make sure I don't get filled at the top. I should have waited a bit longer though. It dropped even more after my entry, but luckily some of the KOLs got in and pushed the shit back up. The EU market is very slow lately, so I had to wait patiently to see how this plays out, and I ended up getting a nice 2x on this trade. I also had a bunch of break-even trades, but I won't include all of them because it just doesn't make sense to do so. But for the sake of example, this is how it looks. I saw a bunch of posts about this cat even before I started my trading session, and I really thought this could push if the dev approached it correctly. I took a small position here with 0.3 Sol without waiting for any dips because the coin was already at a low market cap, 12k. It moved kinda slow at first, but it started to push higher eventually, and I really thought this could at least migrate. Then I would definitely take a profit, which could have been at least 3 to 4x. I did not sell for any profit here because I was so early in this coin, so I rather chose to hold it out, and eventually I sold at break even. Well, technically for a small loss. Then I took a hit on this fish coin. A really solid lore here, kinda like the penguin type idea, a really good coin. But I made a mistake of buying it without waiting for a pullback first, and I'll show you in a second what that cost me and why it's so important to wait for a pullback first. This is a very good lesson, so wait for it. So it dipped and I sold it for a 34% loss. Then right after that I kinda started to revenge trade and pulled this stupid move right here on this random ass coin, which cost me another 30% loss. And now the best part. I then went back to see how fish was doing, and as you can see, it reversed right after my sell and went back up. So if I had just waited for a proper dip first, I would have got a very profitable trade. Because it was such a good coin with solid lore, I decided to take another trade here. I waited for a dip first and bought in with 1 Solana. Pretty much caught my entry perfectly. Again, EU market is very slow lately, so patience is actually what I'm fighting here with, because I just knew this could at least go into the hundreds. My goal was at least 2x here, and yeah, pretty much a clean 2x trade is what I got, pushing my port up to 2.4 Sol. Then came a few losses, even though the coins I picked were actually pretty decent. It's just some of them didn't work out at the moment, or my timing was bad again. For example, this Archie cat. Nothing really special here, but still huge views on TikTok. I took the first trade with 0.5 Sol and then immediately sold for a tiny loss because I kinda thought this wouldn't get any attention, but it actually did, and someone paid the DEX for it. I then tried one more time with 0.5 Sol, really bad timing, and I got filled right at the top, which is so unfortunate because it's like you're immediately in a loss if you get filled like this. I sold again for a decent loss this time, but whatever, my mistake. Meanwhile, I saw that Fishcoin is doing pretty good and it had a nice pullback, which got my attention. And because I'm in a profit on this wallet at this point, I decided to try my luck one more time here. It had a solid pullback. As you can see, it's forming some kind of a floor here, so why not? I bought in with another Solana here just to see what happens while I'm trading other coins. Then while the fish trade was cooking, I saw this Mogger coin pop out, and because this is a trend on a TikTok, being mogged and shit, I decided to do a quick scalp on it. I timed my entry almost perfectly here, and right after that it pumped back up. Very lucky here, got out with a nice 57% profit here. I then checked my trade on Fishcoin and just decided to sell because my idea was, if it's a solid floor, then it should attract some kind of a volume one more time to push it back to the previous highs or something, but it didn't happen. The next trade was pretty solid. Again, good coin, good lore. I'm really focusing on stuff like that, and I'm really trying to avoid trading shit that has no meaning. Apparently, there's a company focusing on de-extinction, aiming to restore extinct species, so this coin was based on that. Obviously, if you choose to trade these type of coins, you need to check if it's true, if the name is correct and all that. All the wallets holding supply looked good, clusters looked good, name was right, so I waited for a decent pullback and got in perfectly again. The chart looked great, so no wonder they bought it back up and pushed it to previous highs. I ended up with a nice 90% profit on this one, pushing my port to 2.8 Sol. Then again, I had some break-evens here and there where I lost tiny amounts in fees. I didn't want to include those, but then I saw this Graphista coin. I don't really know how I missed it in the middle tab, but I only saw it when it was already above 100k market cap. With all the hype about Pippin, there were plenty of beta plays doing good numbers, and this one was actually a pretty solid beta play. The dev was really working hard for it, which is always a huge green flag. I didn't plan to wait for a dip here because the coin was moving up pretty aggressively and the lore was really good, so I had to take the risk and blast in at the 170k market cap. Bought it with 1 Solana, the market cap was high enough so it was okay to risk a bit more. It was one of those plays where I just decided to hold, like whatever happens, happens. At one point it dropped below my entry, but I really felt this could work, so I held through the dip. Eventually it pushed higher and instead of pressing sell, I accidentally bought in with another Solana. I then quickly sold for a 0.4 sol profit, pushing my port up to 2.9 Solana. So that's how the first day of my 1 Solana challenge went. Some losses, some wins, but overall good day. Main lesson here is patience, and avoiding FOMO is very important when you're trading with small port. That's it. If you want to see more trades like this and learn everything about meme coin trading, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel and follow me on X. It really helps me to grow in this space and keeps me motivated to keep dropping real trades for you guys. Peace.